this is definitely the world's gentlest death. He put a feather on the scales of judgment and put the old lady's heart on the other end of the scale. If the two weigh the same, then the old lady can go to heaven and enjoy eternal life. Otherwise, she will be sent to the 18th floor of hell. She will never be able to go back to life. When she found out about this, she panicked. She started to explain all the bad things she had done in her life, but the Grim Reaper didn't pay any attention to her. Instead, he stared intently at the scale in front of him until the scale stopped swinging. Then he smiled with satisfaction. He said to the old lady, "Your best is good." Until then, the old woman breathed a sigh of relief, but she could never have imagined Anubis, the god of death, had come to return the favor. A few hours ago, the old lady was cooking at home. It was the day her youngest son came home. She had prepared her favorite canned herring for him, but since her son was away for years, she hid them all in a high place. She can only reach them by relying on a bench. Watching her struggle to reach them, the cat beside her couldn't help but break into a cold sweat. At that moment, there was a knock on the door. Mrs. Fatal thought it was her son, but it was a strange black man. She thought he was on the wrong floor, but she didn't expect the black man to say,
"You have died, Mrs. Fadil, and it is time for you to come with me."
Mrs. Hadil was in disbelief until she saw the body on the floor. She realized she was dead. When she was reaching for something, she was unsteady on her feet, which led to the tragedy. Knowing that her family would be coming to collect her body, she quickly began to arrange the clothes on the body because she didn't want her family to see her in a bad state. But she still had a question, that she was obviously a member of the Muslim family. Why was she being guided by the Egyptian god of death? It turns out that when Mrs. Fatter was very young, Mrs. Fatter often heard her grandmother tell stories about the ancient Egyptian gods. Among them was the story of the wolf and the fox wolf. The prototype was Anubis, because the power of the gods all depends on human beliefs, and by osmosis, she brought a lot of power to Anubis. That's why he applied to receive the soul of Mrs. Fatima today, to see what kind of person she is. After that, the god of death took Mrs. Fatter to the ladder of judgment. After a long journey, finally arrived at the desert of the people. Then they came to the scale of judgment and began to test Mrs. Fatal's soul. Luckily, Mrs. Fatal passed the test. Then it was time to go to the gates of the underworld. Each door here leads to a different world, and that means a different life. But Mrs. Fatal had one concern. She was abused by her father when she was a child. She didn't want to meet him again after her death. She said to the Grim Reaper, "You are the kind boy. You choose for me." Hearing this, the Shinigami smiled a little. Then he waved his hand and opened the center door. But there are many strange things in this world. Not everyone is as happy as Mrs. Fatal is as happy as Mrs. Fatal.